Happy Thursday, everybody. Hey, girl. Hey, Uncle JB. Shayla. YouTube. Everybody. Happy Thursday. All right. We ready to rock and roll bright and early. It is Thursday. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all day of rest. If y'all was able to take it off, open Nathaniel. Peaceful greetings. It is June the 10th, 2021, day 176 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, also poorly termed as the Old Testament, because if you call it the Old Testament, it would seem that it trains the mind to look at it in a way that it's not. It makes you think it's obsolete when that is the furthest thing from the truth, right? So books of the law and the prophets. Okay. And of the 3-year consecutive day count, y'all, we are on day 845. Remember that is without the Sabbath days and the feast day Sabbath days added into the counts. Why? Y'all know. Because we rest as Yahuwah has commanded us to. Y'all, we reading the last 3 chapters in the book of 4th Ezra today. It's only 16 chapters. 14, 15, and 16. I still ain't decided if we're going to go into Maccabees. I guess I'm going to have to decide that by the end of the day, huh? Or whether we're going to move right along to what's the next book after Nehemiah. I think it's Esther. If I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. I need to double check. I'll know before the day is over with whether we're going to go through Maccabees. Maccabees is 4 books. They're not long books, but we'll be there for a couple weeks if we go there. We'll be there. We'll probably be there for about a month. Like seriously, if we read Maccabees. Let me think about it some more. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and do the Shema, and hopefully we get through it today. Where we can pick back up on fossilized customs. Because we've been trying to go back to page 132 for the last few days, but the reading from the scriptures has just been so long that it leaves us no time during the week. And I want to honor your time. I know people still have to go to work. If you're working for somebody else, ain't no shame in that. Get out there and get Caesar what belongs to him. When you promise your time, get Caesar your time till your contract is up. All right. The Shema, or some people say Shema, is found in Deuteronomy chapter 6. And we're going to start at verse 3. Remember, read the whole chapter. I just condensed it for our morning prayer. We use this as our prayer as we start, just to kind of jog your memory on what we're supposed to be doing here, right? Hear, therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahuwah, the Elohim of our fathers, has promised us, in the land that flows with milk and honey. Hear. Pay attention. Stop what you're doing. Pay attention. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah, our mighty one, and the versions of the Bible says God, but we're getting out of the habit of saying God because of what it truly means. Yahuwah, our mighty one, he is one. And that's what it says. It says he is one. He is one. He is perfect unity. He's not divided. He's not a trinity. He's not a duality. He's one. And he says that all the way through Scripture. If we would catch it and see it and have eyes to see, right? Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah, our mighty one, he is one. And you shall love Yahuwah, your Elohim, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children. And you shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand. And they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. Remember, the sign upon our hand is taking the commandments. That's the action, the actual doing. They shall be as frontlets between our eyes, meaning we're constantly to meditate on them, right? What happens here with the hand, with the action. What we meditate on, what we think on, what we ponder on, we eventually begin to act it out. That's good and evil. But Yahuwah always tells us, choose those things that are good. Choose life, right? And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of your house and on your gates. That means commanding your household and all those that come up under your canopy, they should be following these same rules of life, right? And Yahuwah commanded us to do all these statutes, to fear Yahuwah, our mighty one, for our good, that he might preserve us alive. Skip the word. For our good always, that he might preserve us alive as it is at this day. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahuwah, our mighty one, as he has commanded us. Trina, hey, that's probably okay, y'all. Can y'all see the? I think it's good. Hold on, let me just make sure. I don't know. They did it somehow. Somebody say something or put a number or something. Can y'all see the chat? I can see it. I'm not sure if anybody said anything. I just want to double check, just so I don't miss anybody's question. If somebody have a question. Put a number or something in there. Well, okay, I can see mine. I'm not sure if y'all can see it. Okay, but I'll keep going. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and hop over here to Ezra. Okay, sweet. Thanks, Shayla. Uh-oh. I go with my mouse. I have to knock myself off. Okay, y'all. For Ezra, chapter 14. Oh, let me just make a little comment too, right? Okay, and I'm only gonna make this comment because I think some people, they don't actually watch my video. They'll just look at the title and begin. I'll say especially on YouTube, they'll just look at the title and make a comment based on the title, and specifically the ones where it's astral projection in the title. Guys, watch the videos, please. Watch the video. I already told y'all before, I be using titles that grab people's attention, right? We talk about it, but I use attention-grabbing titles to at least draw people in so they can hear the truth. And if after they hear the truth, they want to go away, then that's fine. Well, at least they've had an opportunity to hear the truth, right? Now, when you see astral project, remember, astral projection is a term that other, more Western people are using it, but that's a term a lot of other regions of the world use, right? I guess you can say religions or different places in the world, they use the term astral projection, right? But it's simply, if you're raised up in a church, you may not have heard astral projection. You may have heard open vision, right? You can interact with your visions, whatever you're seeing in the spirit, right? You're literally seeing in the spirit, and you can interact with it. You could actually go in there. Your physical body stays here, but your spirit goes there. Or some people just chalk it all up to dreaming. That's what I was explaining. And I was simply explaining that as you begin to get closer to y'all, and you clean your physical body up and give it the living foods that it needs, that's going to begin to happen anyway. You are going to become spiritually more aware. And so, as that begins to happen to you, a lot of people go research and stuff, and you're going to run into different things. So I'm trying to be a guide for you, just in case you run into some of the things, especially the astral projection, right? And people start looking up sleep paralysis and all this stuff, right? Just trying to be a guide. Make sure you stay on the right path. That's there. Some people give you some good tidbits when they use the word astral projection. But it will happen to you. It is going to happen to you. It's probably been happening to you. If you're looking it up, it's probably been happening to you, right? But I want to steer you away from some of the wrong information that's out there, especially if you're looking for that term specifically, astral projection, right? You got a good mix of people up there. You got people up there that say, oh, this is good. Some people just straight from the church, and they just hear, and they just want to talk against the realm with no experience whatsoever. They could be completely spiritually dense, and they're just giving information based off of head knowledge and what they've been taught, but they have no experience. But those of us who have head, you can say head knowledge, but also experience of being in that realm, we know that there's something to it. We're trying to figure out what in the world is going on, because sometimes it happens without your consent, right? Like, none of us give ourselves dreams. None of us give ourselves open visions. It happens, and then we just kind of flow with it. But as you begin to become more spiritually aware, you realize that you actually can bring it on yourself. You can actually, on purpose, operate in the spiritual realm. Like, you can, on purpose, go in there. Some people access it the wrong way, by drugs and stuff. Stay away from drugs at all times by accessing the spiritual realm. That is the wrong way to go. Don't do it. You're going to get in trouble, right? And you may run into some malignant entities that church calls demon spirits. Don't do it. Josiah, shalom, Auntie, hey. But as you be, and some of y'all, some people don't like to take the long road. Reading Yahuwah's law, statutes, and commands, right? Seeking him alone. As you begin to do what's right, on you taking the right road, and like that's not, don't let that be your focus. Oh, the spiritual realm, I got to go there. Don't let that be your focus. Your focus is Yah and Yah alone. Learning what he says about his laws, his statutes, and commands, and how they should be applied to your life. As you learn, you begin to graduate. As you begin to graduate, Yahuwah will open your eyes and he'll teach you more and more. And you will realize, especially if you decide to adopt a plant-based diet, meaning you decide to put away all dead flesh, all dead things from your body, and on a physical level begin to feed it life, just like Yahuwah's commands is life for us, life for our spirit. Plants, living foods are life to our physical bodies. When you join the two, it takes you to another level. The scriptures you can see at another level as Yahuwah begins to reveal some things, because there are some things you just cannot see when you're constantly feeding your flesh dead things. It's impossible. I know. I've been there. This change didn't start happening until I decided to go completely plant-based, and then the sacrifices started messing with me. Y'all know. Y'all hear the whole way through it. The last, I think, year 2, I was talking about the most. I'm like, y'all, something's wrong about this. Because as I learned how to be plant-based and clean my life up, certain things that I know and Yahuwah is showing me from the scriptures, I'm like, something is wrong with this. Why would you tell us not to do this, but then here you say do this? And he's like, did I say that? Go ahead, run it through, check it out, right? And he'll give you a free course to go check into things, to do your own due diligence while you are being diligent and comparing things based on experience and what your body is teaching you from personal experience. Okay, well, when I put flesh in my mouth, this start happening, but when I eat life, this start happening, and this begins to heal. And then now you're trying to bring a balance between the two. Okay, if Yahuwah is the giver of life and he tells us to choose life, would he then go back on his word and tell us to begin to consume death? I don't think so. Matter of fact, I'm 100% sure that he does not operate that way, right? But as you grow, you'll learn different things, right? And as you begin to put life in your body, your spiritual eyes become open, and you'll begin to interact more in the spiritual realm. You're not saying, y'all, take me into the spiritual realm or astral project me there. It's just going to happen, right? As you line your body up, it's just a principle. And any bit, proof, here's some proof that you can test. When people go on a fast, and they could still be meat eaters. They could be complete meat eaters. Anybody who has gone on any length of a fast where they put away meat and some of the other things that they enjoy, all the meat from the king's table, they will tell you, I don't think it's not one person who will tell you, who has done a fast, that they will tell you they did not become more spiritually aware, right? That's a test right there. You can prove yourself. You begin to have dreams. You can hear Yahuwah clearer. Revelations, things will just come to you during a fasting period. That's why people a lot of times add fasting onto their prayer, because they need to hear clearer. They need to see clearer. Let me see. And that's a principle you can test, right? It just naturally happens. It naturally happens, but sometimes if you got a bunch of spooky people and indoctrinalized people teaching you, there's like, oh no, that's of the devil, don't do that, it's demonic. I mean, I get it. I was there. I came out of it. I used to do the same stuff. I was that person until I started actually fasting, right? I'm like, oh shoot. Like, that wasn't but this is happening, right? So just want to kind of say that, so don't get thrown off by my titles. I know the regulars, y'all don't get thrown off by the titles, because y'all hear live and y'all hear everything in context, where if people, they Googling stuff, it's like cherry picking scriptures. You find it, what I'm looking for, boom, 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 okay, boom, boom, boom. Now, astral projection, and you take it upon yourself, this is demonic, stay away from here. did you even listen to me? People, I said, did you even listen to my video? No, okay. I'm not going about my business. But doing that is just like cherry picking the scriptures without the intimate knowledge of actually spending time. When you just doing word researches, that's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with doing word researches and topical researches and stuff. You can do that. But it takes you a whole nother level when you actually spend time just reading it. Just set your researching skills, not do it, just set them right here for a moment, right? And get intimate with the family. Learn about the language of the family, just like how we talk today. That's what's up, different things like that. It's the same type of lingo. When you understand it's about the family, the people who interpret the family wrong will become very clear to you. That is not what that meant, right? That how did you even get that from this? And as you begin to spend time just reading through, like I said before, just take a year and just read through it over and over and over and over again. And I can recommend it. I can say it because that's what I did. And not just a year. I've been doing it for the last few years. And 3 years out loud with you guys, right? I'm like, yo, have y'all read? We got to read this together, right? So when you begin to do that, you begin to gain intimate knowledge of the family and how they act and how Yahuwah interacts with them and what he says. And you will know things will begin to stick out. This is not how Yahuwah speaks. It sits aloof from everything else. Yes, it's large between here. I said, but that seems aloof from how Yahuwah normally speaks. Somebody has added this here, and you begin to pick out things. It's easy to see those things. You begin to circle them and highlight them and come back. And if you keep on going, you'll begin to see that it truly indeed is leaven. And the leaven that has been added, it has very strategically been added. And they have to add the leaven back here, just like they added it in the New Testament. And if you keep on going, you will see how those added portions of leaven and sacrifices specifically, how all the leaven links together to take you along this ride to mind screw you and get you off in another whole direction and keep you trapped and alive, right? I'm telling you, it's a whole process. And I don't even think if I hadn't gone plant-based, I would not have even gotten this far where I could see that, right? It's crazy. You can't continue to do something that's causing the body to die and call it life, and we can clearly see you're dying. What? You say that's okay to eat, but you got this wrong with you, that wrong with you. You might want to look into that a little bit more. At least I'm going to take your advice and set it right here while I continue my research on that, right? So I just wanted to say that, y'all. Don't cherry pick scriptures. Just learn how to become intimate and really learn how to seek Yah. And those things, the spiritual realm will begin to open up for you. You don't have to go seeking after it. You just do what Yahuwah said, and he actually begins to show you those things. He leads you on paths to help you understand certain things that you're having problems with. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say about my astral projection titles, because I got a few messages and so just in case y'all are watching, those who sent me messages and responded without watching or may not have understood, that's why. Y'all don't get sidetracked like I'm trying to tell y'all to go out here and do witchcraft, because I'm not. And those that are here, no, I'm not. All right, so I just wanted to say that because it bothered me. I'm like, people just, your first name should be Cherry Pick. Cherry Pick and Misunderstanding is your middle name. Okay, 4th Ezra, chapter 14. Remember, Ezra has these questions. He's asking y'all, why is it that your people seem to get the butt end of the deal all the time, and the wicked seem like they're constantly getting away and progressing and everything? And so Yahuwah is sending an answer through the angel Uriel and explaining everything to him, right? And he just to kind of sum it up, he said they're not. It seems like they are, but I'm giving them more grace, right? I'm giving them more grace to get it right. They have more time to get it right, because when they leave this place, it's going to be complete reality for them. So it's neat that it's neat that I give them more time to get it together. And that word right there, we talked about a little bit, is meat. That's another whole mind screw word that they use, meat and meat. Meat meaning, as Yahuwah used it in the beginning, when he said food, what our food would be, Levine, blessings, he wasn't talking about meat as in food for you, right? And although you'll go through different translations and it says, and the animals shall be food for you, there's a version that says the animals shall be meats for you, and it has a colon, even as I have given every green herb for you as food, right? And proper translation of that with the animals, Yahuwah wasn't saying that the animals would be meat as in food for you, although some interpretations and Bibles will have that. That is not what it means, because if you use that same word, you'll see things where even in the New Testament, they use it right in other places except for here, right? Just like that meat right there with the animals means suitable. Like the animals are meat for you, meaning they're suitable for your use, to help you plow your fields and to travel. I have given them for suitable use for you, even as I have given every green herb of the field as food for you. That's the proper interpretation of that, y'all. Which, if you get it right from the beginning, you can fix all the leaven all the way through. They start the leaven early, right? So, but they'll use that word meats in the right context in every other place. This is meats for the master's use. What is food for the master's use? No, this is suitable for the master's use. You are meats for the master's use. You are suitable for the master's use, right? When you get cleaned up, we become meats for the master's use. We become suitable for him to use us. We can use you in certain ways, right? Not as consuming you, eating. No, I'm going to use you to accomplish this purpose. We become meat for use. We become meat. We become meat for use. We become suitable for use. That's just a little tidbit. I'm just throwing it out there, y'all. I'm just saying, y'all. So you got to be careful. Let me read. So that's what he's saying. He's giving the wicked more time, and then he's going explaining and telling Ezra there are certain things that you're just not going to understand. Oh, all of this Ezra. Notice how Yahuwah, through the angel Uriel, he keeps telling Ezra, he said, if you want to know a little bit more, you need to fast 7 more days, right? The more he fasts, what happens? When you fast, you literally begin to subdue your flesh, right? Because your flesh can only handle certain things, and there are some things you cannot understand when you're full of flesh, when you're full of meat, you're full of the king's delicacies and meat, right? So each time he wanted to give him a deeper revelation, he said, fast 7 more days. Fast 7 more days, and then I'll reveal this thing to you, right? And you guys, it's like all they're clear in plain sight, well, I ain't gonna say plain English a lot of times because they be screwing with your mind and playing with words sometimes, right? But it's there, all that, we can see all of this happening even through Ezra. Joy rises, Nikki. Hey. Okay, so that's where we at. And so each time, and this last time he told me to fast, he said, now. He said, don't fast this time. He said, now I want you to eat the flowers of the field, or the herbs of the field, right? So with this revelation, you need to, it was like he was stripping him of things, and now he's beginning to heal him and reveal more with the herbs of the field that he's eating, right? So, all right. 4th Ezra chapter 14. And it came to pass upon the 3rd day, I sat under an oak, and behold, there came a voice out of a bush over against me and said, Ezra, Ezra. And I said, here am I, Adonai. And I stood up upon my feet. Then said he unto me, in the thorn bush I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moshe, or Moses, and talked with him, when my people served in Mitzrayim, which is also Egypt. And I sent him and led my people out of Mitzrayim and brought him up to the mount of where I had held him by me a long season, and told him many wondrous things, and showed him the secrets of the times and the end, and commanded him, saying, these words shall you declare, and these shall you hide. And now I say unto you, that you lay up in your heart the signs that I have showed, and dreams that you have seen, and the interpretations which you have heard. For you shall be taken away from all, and from henceforth you shall remain with my son, and with such be as like you until the times be ended. Remember, we are Yahuwah's son, right? There are some of us that pass away and go into eternity, right? And we stay wherever that place is in eternity, whether it's the grave or with him. That I really can't tell you. I have not died before, so I cannot verify the information. I can only take what I'm learning, what I know now. But as of today, we go to the grave, right? We go to the grave. I say the flesh goes to the grave. The flesh goes to the grave. Now, whereas the spirit goes, I know you grew up in church that it goes back to the Father. That I cannot deny. You see it being said in places where the spirit goes to paradise. But the spirit definitely goes somewhere, right? Because we know that those who are offspring of the Nephilim, which are the malignant entities on earth, remember, those who are offspring of spiritual and flesh. Remember at the very beginning when the fallen angels had sex with the daughters of men. It tells us when we read through the book of Enoch, and matter of fact, it's Enoch chapter 15 to be precise, that when those died, the men, the renown of old, when they die, their flesh goes to the earth, but their spirits stay here, right? Their spirits stay on the earth, but they stay in the unseen realm. And it tells us that those spirits begin to torment men, right? So if you're having some supernatural encounters or otherworldly experiences and you're being attacked, it's them. And it could be a human person, right? Based on all that I know up to today, it could also be a human person that know how to navigate the spiritual realm, right? So I just wanted to say that. Oh, you're welcome, C. Cambridge. You're welcome. Bless y'all. Okay. For you shall be taken away from all, and from henceforth you shall remain with my son, and with such be as like you until the end, until the times be ended. For the world has lost its youth, and the times begin to wax old. And remember, this is Ezra's time, right? For the world is divided into 12 parts, and the 10 parts of it are gone already, and half of a 10th part, and there remains that which is after the half of the 10th part. Now therefore set your house in order, and reprove your people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Let go from you mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto you, and haste you to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which you have seen happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. For the time is fled far away, and falsehood is hard at hand. Yes, it is. Even in our day, falsehood is far at hand. For now hasten the vision to come, which you have seen. Then answered I before you and said, Behold, Adonai, I will go as you have commanded me, and reprove the people which are present. But they that shall be born afterward, who shall admonish them? Thus the world is set in darkness, and they that dwell therein are without light. For your Torah is burnt. Therefore no man knows the things that are done of you, or the work that shall begin. Okay, so when he said the Torah is burnt, remember the last king. Well, I think he kind of skipped a little bit, but we're going to read it. So when they found the Torah, it was a couple kings that did it. When the Torah was found, when they began to read the scrolls to this one particular king, I forget his name, he began to slice off portions of it and throw it into the fire, right? So because they had been aloof from Yahuwah's commands for so long, and they couldn't find copies of the Torah or the scrolls of the instructions, also called the law of Moses, right? Don't get twisted up with words, y'all. When people say the law of Moses, when you say the law of Moses, okay, the law of Yah. A lot of people just take that completely out of context, like Moses himself gave it. When Yahuwah gave Moses the honor of it being called after him. We read about that. I'm going to give you the honor of letting my words be called after your name, right? That's how good friends he was with Moses, right? He said, I'm going to name this after you. It's mine, but I'm going to give you the honors this time, friend. So it's called the Law of Moses. So I've never really gotten tripped up on the name the Law of Moses. But people will if the wrong people teach them. But it's the Law of Moses is simply another name for the books of the law and the prophets, or Yahuwah's instructions, right? Yahuwah's instructions given to his people via Moses, right? And Moses was doing a lot of fasting, remember all this stuff. So he was, in a term you can say he was, I don't really use the term a lot, but astral projecting. He was seeing into the spirit, or he was having open visions, or actually going into that realm, right? Same thing is happening all this time throughout the scriptures, and those who fast tend to experience it a lot more, right? Okay, so that's what it meant by the Torah was burnt. They was actually taking the scrolls, the written word that Yahuwah had given, and they were burning it. They said, we don't want to hear this. Get out of here with this garbage. Gone. It's done away with anyway. We have no need of it. This is what we do now, right? And Ezra is sick about this. For your Torah is burnt. Therefore no man knows the things that are done of you, or the work that shall begin. But if I have found grace before you, send your set-apart spirit. And if you have this, it has YAHUAH ALONE, which simply means set-apart spirit. When we begin to walk in Yahuwah's law, statutes, and commands, we become separate. We have a different spirit than those of the world, right? But if I have found grace before you, send the YAHUAH ALONE into me, and I shall write all that has been done in the world since the beginning, which were written in your Torah, that men may find your path, and that they which live in the latter days may live. And he answered me, saying, go your way, gather the people together, and say unto them, that they seek you not for 40 days, but look, prepare you many box trees, and take with you Sariah, Debriah, Yahu, Ethan, and Asiel, these 5 which are ready to write swiftly, and come hither, and I shall light a candle of understanding in your heart, which shall not be put out till the things be performed which you shall begin to write. I'll read that again. And come hither, and I shall light a candle of understanding in your heart, which shall not be put out till the things be performed which you shall begin to write. So remember, Yahuwah, if you've read this, clearly we know what's about to happen. Yahuwah, he asked him, he said, listen, your Torah is burnt. We don't even have any physical copies anymore. He said, I'll write it. He said, if there is no other copy, he said, give it to me all over again. He said, just bless me. He said, put your spirit inside of me. He said, and give it to me, and I'll write it. And what he was prepared up until that day, because Yahuwah don't do things like this until you have set yourself apart. Like, you don't get revelations like this if you don't fast. If you can't get this under control, you can't control this habit right here, this hand to mouth, everything, you get some nothing, right? You get the bare minimum, right? Deeper revelations come for those who can subdue this monster, this beast, this bull right here, right? Our spirit is closed with the beast daily. Father, help us all, right? So until the spirit, the navigator of this human avatar, until the spirit can control this magnificent beast that everybody can see in this physical realm, it's only unto then, when the spirit can control the flesh, that these type of revelations will come to you, right? And over this course of time, Ezra has been fasting in 7-day increments, each connecting to the next increment, right? Until he reaches this point. And now he's already been fasting in these increments of 7, back to back, back to back, back to back. Now he said, if we can't find it here in the earth anywhere, give it to me, repeat it to me, and I'll write it again. And Yahuwah has required him to go another 40 days. He said, okay, all right, Ezra. Okay, your flesh will do it enough. I might can use you. You about the only one on earth at this point where this is going to happen through, right? Okay, I want you to go away. Tell them don't come seeking you for 40 days or more, right? He said, then I need you to get fast to the 5 swift riders. I'm going to put my spirit upon them, and we're going to do this thing. Look, hold on. But look, prepare you many box trees, and take with you Sariah, Debriah, Yahu, Ethan, and Asiel, these 5 which are ready to write swiftly, and come hither, and I shall light a candle of understanding in your heart, which shall not be put out till the things be performed which you shall begin to write. And when you have done, some things shall you publish, and some things shall you show secretly to the wise. Tomorrow, this hour, you will begin to write. Then went I forth, as he commanded, and gathered all the people together, and said, Hear these words, O YAHUAH, or O Israel. Our fathers at the beginning were strangers in Egypt, from whence they were delivered, and received the Torah of life, which they kept not, which ye also have transgressed after them. Then was the land, even the land of Zion, parted among you by lot. But your fathers and ye yourselves have done unrighteousness, and have not kept the ways which El Elyon commanded you. Ooh, let me just bring out a point, just in case nobody paid attention to this. It's not everybody that didn't keep the laws of Yah. Like this is like obvious, but it's never brought out, right? Because although the majority of Israel wasn't keeping the commands, there has always been a remnant that has kept the commands. How do we know? Because there are prophets, right? Yahuwah is not using some lawbreaker to speak to his people. The prophets, and you have some priests. You have some priests that went willy-nilly. But the prophets were keeping to the Torah, right? All the prophets kept the Torah. There was nothing that they complained about and said that we could not keep. I just wanted to bring that out just in case you missed that while you was reading. Then was the land, even the land of Zion, parted among you by lot. But your fathers and ye yourselves have done unrighteousness, and have not kept the ways which El Elyon commanded you. As formuch as he is a righteous judge, he took from you in time the thing that he had given you. And now are ye here, and your brethren among you. Therefore, if it be so that ye will subdue your own understanding, and reform your hearts, ye shall be kept alive. After death ye shall obtain mercy. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the wicked shall be declared. Let no man therefore come now unto me, nor seek after me these 40 days. So I took the 5 men as he commanded me, and went into the field, and remained there. And the next day, behold, a voice called me, saying, Ezra, open your mouth, and drink that I give you to drink. Then I opened my mouth, and behold, he reached me a full cup, which was full as it were with water, but the color of it was like fire. And I took it and drank. And when I had drunk of it, my heart uttered understanding, and wisdom grew in my breast, for my spirit strengthened my memory, and my mouth was open and shut no more. El Elyon gave understanding unto the 5 men, and they wrote the wonderful visions of the night that were told, which they knew not. And they sat 40 days, and they wrote in the day, and at night they ate bread. As for me, I spoke in the day, and held not my tongue by night. In 40 days they wrote 204 sepharim, or 204 scrolls. And it came to pass, when the 40 days were filled, that El Elyon spoke, saying, The first that you have written, publish openly, that the worthy and the unworthy may read it. But keep the 70 last, that you may deliver them only to such as be wise among the people. For in them is the spring of understanding, the fountain of wisdom, and the stream of knowledge. And I did so. And it's a lot of things that we come across that some people just aren't ready for. If they can't just be diligent with learning how to get through the regular 66, or let's not say 66, right? The regular books of the law and the prophets, that's not without the New Testament added, but that's another whole conversation for another day. Because remember, the people back here, all they had was Torah, right? And y'all got to think about that too. If all they had was Torah, the books of the law and the prophets, and they only talked about the books of the law and the prophets, how is it now that we just use the cliff notes of their life? Are we any better that we don't need to look at the books of the law and the prophets like they did, or they said they did, or that it's written that they did? Why then do we take something that is only a shadow of what was full in itself given to us, right? Because we're taught about Yahuwah's Torah backwards, like it's all been fulfilled here when Yahuwah gave interpretation of everything, just about everything. And the only thing he didn't give interpretation for was things that he specifically said were sealed to a certain time. I just wanted to, just in case you weren't paying attention while you was reading, go back and read and you'll see exactly what I'm saying. Pick your favorite Bible that you have, because you might think I'm doing witchcraft with the books I'm reading from. Pick your own and go through and pay attention, right? All right, look. Chapter 15. Behold, speak in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in your mouth, says Yahuwah, and cause them to be written on paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against you. Let not the incredulity of them trouble you that speak against you. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, says Yahuwah, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, says Yahuwah, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cries unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Therefore, says Yahuwah, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. So if you're familiar with the New Testament, you're thinking that it starts and ends there, or that it started back here and ended here. They just repeating to you what they got from back here. Y'all should go back and read it from the horse's mouth yourself. Let me not say that. You should go back and read it from Yahuwah's mouth yourself. And not what they've regurgitated to you and have chopped and screwed and added stuff to. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to keep on reading. I'm going to go back a verse. And therefore, says Yahuwah, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Mitzrayim, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Mitzrayim with plagues as before. So, listen, right here, you should know if you're paying attention. I see, baby girl. It said, I will smite Mitzrayim, or Egypt, with plagues as before. So this is not talking about the first time, because this right here, he's saying he's going to do this again like he did the first time. Remember, we're reading Deuteronomy chapter 20, starting at 28, right? And going through there, and Yahuwah said that, look, if you start doing all these things, I'm going to take you back into Egypt, right? But this time by ships and other things that he said, right? You're going to go into Egypt a second time. Remember, when they was hearing Yahuwah say this, they had just come out of Egypt the first time, right? He said, if you start tripping out here, start cutting up, I'm going to take y'all back in, right? And not necessarily this one. Even Moses said, look, I'm going to be dead and gone. But Yahuwah already told me, before y'all get over here good, y'all going to turn away from the things that he told y'all not to do. And y'all going to go back into bondage. You and your hard-headed kids. Y'all don't listen to nothing. Y'all done already got my blood boiling, and we ain't even got in there yet. And I know when we get in there, y'all gonna start acting a fool. That's what Moses was saying, right? He knew this before they even got in there. That's what all that's about. And he said, y'all gonna go back into bondage, and it's gonna be a hard one. And it's gonna be a good 400 years till y'all get it, right? Look, and it's always them hard-headed ones that's kicking against the pricks. So what? We can do this. We can do this. All the ones he was talking to, all them hard heads, it's always like the parents and stuff, right? Oh, Moses, who is you? God talked to us like he talked to you. Who? Korah and his rebellion, right? Do we not hear from the Most High? Can we hear his voice too? Who are you, Moses? Oh, you who grew up in Pharaoh's house, a silver spoon in your mouth, right? It's always them. But all them jokers died right in the wilderness, them hard-headed jokers. And it was their children that went in, right? And we can see that even in our generation. The ones who have been in the church, it's like them hard-headed ones, the rebellion of Korah. Who is you to come give us an interpretation? You know how long we've been doing this? things. And I'm just sitting back like, Father, this is what Moses was talking about. They're doing it again. Like, you can see it. When you see it, you can't unsee it. Who is you, little girl? Or just different things like, they're not saying that I'm anybody, but you get the analogy I'm trying to show you. But it's the same type of thing when Yahuwah begins to open your eyes like, wait a minute, y'all, hold on. What is we doing? We doing this wrong. And you got the ones, our own people, kicking against the truth, and the pricks is like, no. Well, okay, you gather your people to yourself, and everybody that gather with me, now you come fight all of us. I ain't fighting none of y'all regents, right? We're going to do what Yahuwah has said, right? And if we're doing something wrong, we'll adjust as soon as we know that we were doing something wrong. All right, Father, forgive us. Okay, how do we do this right, right? So it's the same thing, right? Look, he said, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Mitzrayim with plagues as before, right? So it's talking about like our day when it happens. He's going to do it again just like he did before. Not talking about them, because if he was talking about them, he wouldn't have said as before. So we know that this is talking about a future time, okay? But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Mitzrayim with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Mitzrayim shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plagues and punishment that Yahuwah shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with the fearful consolation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draws nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. For there shall be sedition among men. Baby girl, stop. Put it down, it's empty. Just put it down for a moment.
It's empty.
Okay, don't shake it. It's making noise.
I'm making
Okay, just wait a minute.
I just made it.
Okay. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. For because of their pride the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. Behold, says Yahuwah, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen. So will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. So we hear about the Gog and Magog war. A lot of people think that that's about to happen now. That's impossible. That can't happen now because we haven't been gathered back to our land. That happens after we're gathered back to our land. How do we know? Because it says, and I'm going to kind of sum it up, what were we thinking letting all of these people go? Let's go back up. And it says that they're going to come up, surrounding Israel on every side. Because think about what they're doing in the created state of Israel, about the Balfour Declaration, right? The USA and Vatican was behind all of that. They created that Israel, right? So if you look at it, it looks like that has happened because they returned Israel to that little piece of land, and now the surrounding nations are coming up against them. But it's that Jedi mind trick. If you don't know all the words of Yah, and if you don't look at the story for what it is, you can tell that that's a farce, right? Because the reason why those nations are coming up against that particular people is because they don't belong there. And that's not all the land of Israel, but they're out of place. It doesn't matter that they done dug the Suez Canal through there to make it look like it's not a part of African land, right? Which it is. But the nations are surrounding them because they're the terror of the earth. Like Gog and Magog is supposed to surround Yahuwah's people, but at this time it's backwards. Gog and Magog is actually sitting in the land. That's who those people are. People, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. We still scattered. That's why all this stuff you hear in the news, all this is like, don't let it fool you. Just go on about your business. serving y'all. Go ahead and eating your popcorn and doing what it is you need to do while Yahuwah washes out all the dross, right? I'm telling you, we'll be all right. Yahuwah said, I keep those that keep my commands. You can just watch and just see what's going on. Just keep on moving while Yahuwah fights for us again, and he begins to uproot and move them out, right? All right. And not just them right there, because he's going to move them out from all of our lands. But what's in the news is that right there. You know, so everybody's kind of, their attention is diverted. That sleight of hand, they got y'all looking over here when you should be looking at all of this. Everything goes together, right? Okay. Behold, says Yahuwah, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and from Lebanon, to turn themselves against one another and repay the things that they have done unto them. Like as they do yet unto this day unto my chosen, so will I also do, and recompense in their bosom. Thus says Yahuwah Elohim, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. Listen, also, let me tell y'all something. It is kind of backtracking a little bit, but not. You should also go pull up them scriptures when Yahuwah said that his sword, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. I'm going to pull them scriptures out for y'all today, and I'm going to post them in the comment section so y'all can see. So y'all think I'm tripping, because Yahuwah said slaughtering an animal, like when he said no shedding blood, he meant no shedding blood at all. That means you can shed blood and eat it. That's not what he said, because there is I'm gonna show, like I said, I'm gonna pull the scripture. Some of y'all ain't gonna believe it till you see it. And if it was a snake, it would have bit you. He said, I'm gonna count. He said, a man that sheds the blood of an animal, is just gonna be like shedding the blood of a man. That's what Yahuwah looks at like. When we slaughter animals, Yahuwah said, that's just like you have slaughtered a man, and I'm going to hold you accountable, just like I'm going to hold the animals accountable for slaughtering men. He's going to do it both ways. I'm like, oh, shoot. Remember, I told you, I'm like, something wrong with these sacrifices. I can't quite get it yet, because, you know, as I'm transitioning, yes, clean meats, that's all we're supposed to eat. But as I began to eat clean meats, and I began to take up fasting a little more and just doing different things, and I started reading different things started. It's just when you grow another level, things you didn't see before begin to shine out to you, and it's just like you start pulling on that string. Now you deeper inside this rabbit hole. How far does this rabbit hole really get? We can't eat meat at all. Like, yeah, you can eat meat, but Yahuwah desires that you don't put dead flesh, dead things in your body. Look, no meats at all. Thank you, Joy. No meat at all. I know that sounds like blasphemy to some of y'all ears. Look, don't crucify me for that. I'm just telling you, it's from my personal experience, y'all. I'm telling you, from my personal experience and my years of growth, because I take studying the scriptures seriously. Like, some people think, oh, just go to church. No, because I realize this is for our life. And I realize there is another world, because I've interacted with it, even by mistake a lot of times, and not knowing what's going on. I'm like, what is going on? What is this place we're at called Earth, this Earth plane? You know, so I take my studies seriously, right? And I don't just do book work, but I'm going to test it, because if Yahuwah says something, there's a way that it can be tested and proven. Not that I'm trying to verify, because I don't know, we need to, nope, this can't be proven. No, a good person, a good student will test the principle, and a good teacher will teach you in hopes that you would test the principle and come to the realization and understanding of the truth yourself, right? A good teacher wants you to experiment, right? That's why you have different teachers, especially in chemistry and biology. Let me help you walk through this experiment together. This is what we're going to do, right? But a good teacher will also teach you the boundaries. They're going to let you know the pitfalls and the dangers, so you can choose, right? This is dangerous. This is why this is dangerous. Some people, let me walk down that road myself and see, because that look, I don't know, that I'm going to go this way. All right. I warned you. I cannot force you not to go down there. Neither can I hold you back. You know, but if you get a little too far down there, remember what I said. This is how you pull yourself back. Not that I'm recommending anybody go down. Learn from the wise, right? Grow by being able to be teachable. If somebody tell you this is wrong, okay, if you understand, I'm be a good teacher, but you got to make sure you got a good teacher too, because some people can tell you stuff is wrong just to keep you away from truths that you really should see. That's something you just kind of got to grow into. You have to learn how to balance truth with error, and you have to kind of weigh it, right? Because there are some things that will prove where you don't have to walk down the road to realize that is not the right way to go. And the best way to do that is look for somebody that's already done walk down that road. Ooh, you came back, you missing 2 arms and leg? Let's take this route. I'm gonna hold off on this one. Let me see what this one do first before I actually have to go down here. So I just, yeah. Consuming death to sustain life. Exactly, Joy. It doesn't make sense. She said, consuming death to sustain life, it no longer makes sense to me. I'm telling you. And it's like, people don't get that, especially in I'm telling y'all, even our brothers and sisters, those who are coming out of the doctrines of the church, and like they everybody, it seems like they go down these same paths of realization where you have to see it for yourself. No, Pootie, that's a delivery for the neighbor. It's just like, and y'all hear me talk about the Matrix a lot. It's not something you can explain. It's something you have to see for yourself. It's something you have to experience. Otherwise, you just don't think people trying to lead you astray and stuff. No, when you see it, you can't unsee it. And like Joel said, it no longer makes sense. This make sense to me, right? Mom, because it doesn't. Mom, so yes.
That's food line.
Okay, but it's not our food line. The neighbor ordered food line. So, it's not for us, baby girl. Okay, so the whole point of saying it, y'all, we were talking about right here where Yahuwah says that, he says, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. That's how we got off into that, because everything that we do, remember, you can't make Israel sin, right? The only way, just remember how Yahuwah said, nobody can, those that bless us will be blessed, and those that curse us are going to be cursed. Like, you cannot curse Yahuwah's people. Even when Balaam tried to do it, when Balak was trying to entice him to curse him, he said, nobody can curse Yahuwah's people. The only way we can be cursed is if we curse ourselves. And that's how they deal craftily with us, y'all. They deal craftily with us by flaunting things in front of us and showing all this type of entertainment. Oh, you need this and you need this. Oh, and you must eat this. This is good. Eat this. And when you're eating stuff that you should never been eating in the first place, it takes you out of your place. Let's just say your place of rulership, right? Because Yahuwah's son rules, should be ruling. Who is Yahuwah's son? That's another whole level of understanding you got to get. When you realize that Ezra, he said, Ezra is my firstborn son. When the king is not in his place, all the world goes astray. Literally, all the world goes astray, right? So as you begin to realize these things and begin to give up all those things that the world say we must have, you have to do this and you have to do this. When we begin to realize all those things that they said was okay, even if it's clean, when we realize it's still death for us, this is not what the king's son should be consuming. Think about Daniel. Like, we know we're not taking anything from the king's table, right? The only thing we're taking is those things that sustain our life and give us life and heal us, just like Yahuwah said, right? When we begin to take those steps and step back into our rightful place of rulership as Yahuwah's son, that's where the power comes, right? Not just power to rule, but power to keep this beast under control. Y'all, this the rabbit hole gets so deep. It's so good. Y'all got to come down here. It's not dark like you can see from the top. It's so light down here in this rabbit hole city. Some people are scared. Ooh, what? And how deep that get? Come on down. Come on. I'll come back up to the top for y'all. And we got any people that's ready to jump in. Y'all seen Divergent? Yo. Remember when the ones who were divergent, they went off, and it was like, in order to get into the not divergent, it was the divergent was the ones who was like, it's like that level where people's like, it's not too many people here, like we can't even classify you because it's like you're above all these other ones. But it was the I forget the fourth group, but it was the wild bunch. It's like, in order to get into their headquarters, you literally had to jump down. It's like, what's down there? We don't know if we might die when we jump down here. It's like, and ain't no, and the person that was there that knew what was there wasn't telling the recruits either, right? It's like either you jump or you don't, right? It's either you come down or but you don't find out everything and all the good stuff until you actually jump in there. Like, you got to get over your fear and just go, right? Jump down here in the hole. All I'm offering is truth, right? It's so good. Okay. So, yeah, so we was talking about innocent blood. Yahuwah said, yeah, truth is down there, right? And they, let me finish reading this, y'all. We already an hour, and we still got one more whole chapter to read. I'm so sorry. We not going to read Fossilized Customs today.
Mom.
Yes, baby girl.
I'm making all these noodles.
Okay. All right. So let me finish this. So, yeah, slaughtering animals, just like you said, you can go hunting. That's like all of these things they put in front of your face. You go take them hunting and all this. You slaughter animals and you're hanging it up as trophies and all of these things. All of this stuff is forbidden by Yah. We are not to slaughter man nor beast. When we get that, there's a lot of understanding, spiritual understanding that Yahuwah just floods into you. When you get that part right, you cannot be taken with the human sacrifice that the New Testament pushes across the world, right? And listen, what's crazy is, notice how even in like news and stuff, they're beginning to say JC name like more frequently, not just on like spiritual channels, but like on the news and stuff. I'm like, oh, so have y'all become Christians now too? I was like, it's almost like they're like it's like detrimental for them now. So it's like, okay, let's just start saying the name of JC like everywhere. We're gonna talk about it in news, and it's like, I'm not sure if y'all paid attention to that. But if you start, I was like, wait, something is wrong here. And it's like they're trying to catch everybody now. The last, we're going out with a big bang. Everybody need to be Christians. And it's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. It's really crazy. It's like they're going to work in overtime to push this lie to catch as many people as possible for whatever it is they're going to do. But I'm telling you, stick close to Yah. Keep his commands. Don't shed the blood of man. Don't shed the blood of animals. And don't eat blood. If Yahuwah tells us not to, you know what? Let me pause right here. We're gonna have to come back to that because I'll be on that. That's, like I said, that's going in my sacrifice teaching. It's taking me a while to pull it all together, but I'm learning more and more every day, and it's just blowing my mind. So I'm gonna come back to this, y'all. Okay, let me finish. My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and has consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners like the straw that is kindled. Woe to them that sin and guard not my commandments, says Yahuwah. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power. Devour not my sanctuary. For Yahuwah knows. No, let me read this again. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power. Do not defile not my sanctuary. For Yahuwah knows all them that sin against him, and therefore is deliver he them unto death and destruction. For now there are plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For Yahuwah shall not deliver you, because you have sinned against him. Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arab shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of Asher. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be troubled, bled, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of Asher shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them, and be in their and in their host shall be fear and dread, and strife among their kings. Behold, clouds from the east, and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and blood shall be from the sword unto the belly, and dung of men unto the camel's hoe, Hough. And there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. And then shall there come great storms from the south, and from the north, and another part of the west, and strong winds shall arise from the east, and shall open it, and the clouds which he raised up in wrath, and the stars stirred to cause fear toward the east and west wind, and shall be destroyed. The great and mighty clouds shall be puffed up, full of wrath, and the star, that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein. And they shall pour out over every high and eminent place a horrible star, fire and hail, and flying swords, and many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the wood, and grass of the meadows, and their grain. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babel, and make her afraid. And they shall come to her and besiege her. The star and all wrath they shall pour out upon her. Then shall the dust and smoke go up into the heaven, and all they that be about her shall bewail. And they that remain under her shall do service unto them that have put her in fear. And you, Asia, are a partaker of the hope of. Let me go back. And you, Asia, are a partaker of the hope of Babel, and are the glory of her person. Woe be unto you, you wretch, because you have made yourself like unto her, and have decked your daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in your lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with you. You have followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore, says Yahuwah, I will send plagues upon you, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste your houses and to waste your houses with destruction and death. And the glory of your power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall arise that is sent over you. You shall be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive you. Would I with jealousy have so proceeded against you, says Yahuwah, if you had not always slain my chosen? Remember, who is Yahuwah's chosen? That goes all into knowing who Yahuwah's son is, and who he constantly says his son is, because he used the term my son, my chosen, my servants interchangeably, but it's always talking about Israel, or the prophets, or the priests from Israel, right? And you'll see that when you see it, it literally says it in plain English, but we're taught not to see. That's what's crazy. We're taught not to see the truth that's in front of our face. And also, let me bring up another point. And this was, I forget who asked me this question. It could have been Josiah. Maybe it was Josiah.
Mom.
Maybe it was Hezekiah. Yes.
Now Jonathan come over here?
No, not yet, Pooh. It was
Mom,
wait a minute, Tootie.
Tiki say Jonathan can come over here.
Okay, so it'll probably be in a few days. It's in reference to the 144,000 when we was talking about this, and I forgot to mention, because a lot of people say that it's men who have never slept with women. If you go through and look at how Yahuwah speaks about Israel, he also calls Israel his virgin daughter, right? Not that they haven't had sex, and that's what throws a lot of people off as well. And a lot of people get off on these misteachings on 144,000. There are 144,000 men from the different tribes of Israel who have never slept with women. On the surface, that's what it looks like, because that's what it says. But that is not what it means, right? My virgin daughter, it means when it talks about, when Yahuwah, what is Yahuwah talking about when he talks about Israel committing whoredoms, right? He's talking about them worshiping other gods, idolatry, other religions and stuff. That's what Yahuwah considers adultery, and you've committed whoredoms with these other nations, with their gods. So the 144,000 are those who have not been defiled by women, or who is women, other doctrines, other teachings that are not of Yah. So these are the undefiled, and the ones who serve Yahuwah alone, they are virgins. They have one husband, right? We have one. We don't have one husband and we also loving his son. That is confusion, and that is disgusting interpretation. We are his son. We are virgins. We worship Yahuwah alone. The 144,000 are not only judges. They rule and reign. They are scattered strategically to, and they're of the ruling class, judges, right? And there only can be virgins who rule, right? There can only be those who there can only be virgins who can issue judgment, because they have a solid understanding of truth, right? So those who are virgins are those who are faithful to Yahuwah's law, statutes, and commands, and they keep them and they teach them. Those are the undefiled. Those are the ones who have not been touched by women, who have not been committing whoredoms with the nation. Now, granted, we were, but we came out of that as Yahuwah began to teach us the truth, and then we put all our other lovers away, right? We worship Yahuwah alone, right? Some people be talking about Torah alone, but they need to learn a little bit more. I get what they're saying, but what they should be saying is we worship Yahuwah alone. And we know by worshiping Yahuwah, we keep his truth alone. What is Torah? Torah is truth. It means instruction, right? So I just wanted to say that. I meant to say it the other day, but I forgot to mention it. So when it says 144,000 virgins, remember when I also mentioned some people say it's children. I said I get the logic in that, because some people think, okay, well, the only people undefiled is children, and not necessarily all the children, but that could only be children. So children are like virgins, right? That's an improper understanding of that, because children really can't be rulers, right? There's a whole course of study. There's a whole bunch that they have to learn. You can't put a child over a nation. So that's an improper interpretation of that as well. The 144,000 are virgins, meaning that they worship Yahuwah alone. They follow Yahuwah alone. They're not defiled. No, so virgin is not about sex. Yes.
Don't hit me.
Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your hands to yourself. All right, but that, yes, you're right, Trina. Virgin is not about sex in that part right there. Okay, so y'all, we still got one more whole chapter to read. Hold on. If y'all got to go to work, go to work. This is recorded, and come back at the hour and 13-minute mark. All right. You shall be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive you. Would I with jealousy have so proceeded against you, says Yahuwah, if you had not always slain my chosen, exalting the stroke of your hands, and saying over their dead, when you were drunken, set forth the beauty of your countenance. The reward of your whoredom shall be in your bosom, therefore shall you receive recompense. Like as you have done unto my chosen, says Yahuwah, even so shall Yahuwah do unto you, and shall deliver you into mischief. Your children shall die of hunger, and you shall fall through the sword. Your city shall be broken down, and all yours shall perish with the sword in the field. So Yahuwah saying, all that you have done to my son, to my chosen, everything is going to happen just like that to you. So you hear people saying this and say, oh, it's coming for you. It is. That's what Yahuwah says, right? Just they're going to get what they dished out. They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood, for very hunger of bread and thirst of water. You as unhappy shall come through the sea, and receive plagues again. And in the passage they shall rush on the idol city, and shall destroy some portion of your land, and consume part of your glory, and shall return to Babel that was destroyed. And you shall be cast down by them as stubble, and they shall be unto you as fire, and shall consume you, your cities, your land, and your mountains. All your woods and your fruitful trees shall they burn up with fire. Your children shall they carry away captive, and look, what you have, they shall spoil it and mar the beauty of your face. All right, y'all, last chapter, and this is 78 verses. Like I said, if you gotta go ahead and go. Come back here, come back to the hour and 15 mark now. All right, last chapter of Ezra, the book of 4th Ezra, chapter 16. Woe be unto you, Babel and Asia. Woe be unto you, Egypt and Aram. Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood? Or may anyone quench the fire in stubble when it has begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? YAHUAH sends the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? YAHUAH shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quakes, and the foundations thereof. The sea arises up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fish thereof also, before YAHUAH and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bends the bow. His arrows that he shoots are sharp, and shall not miss. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out, till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returns not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Woe is me, woe is me! Who shall deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, and beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. They are sent as scourges for amendment. So remember, YAHUAH didn't, this says, and clearly we can see it, Revelation ain't got nothing on these books. Revelation was comprised of these books, right? YAHUAH sends judgment to turn you back to him, right? And when the first spanking don't work, it gets a little bit harder the next time, right? So YAHUAH judgment is like a two-edged sword. It come to cut you, but then on the other side it come back to heal you. It's like a surgeon's knife, right? That's a better term for it. It's like a surgeon's knife. It cuts and it heals, right? So when you don't get it right, the judgment just keeps getting worse and worse. But his judgment is not unto death. His judgment is to bring you, set you back on the right path, right? But if you don't, then you probably need all that extra time to keep repenting, because at the end of the ultimate judgment, there's nothing left but death, because you decided that you just wasn't going to do what was right? So don't end up at the bottom rung of judgment, y'all. Let it only be one that you need to suffer. Try not to suffer it at all, right? Just do what's right. Learn from other people's mistakes. I don't like whippings. I learned from your foolishness. You did what now? Yo, Keisha got stoned last week for that. Y'all might not want to do that. Y'all go ahead, but I'm not. I don't want to die like Keisha. Yes.
Zay on the wheel.
Okay, give me a second, Pootie. I'm almost done.
You told Zay to get off.
I didn't. I didn't today, though. Listen here, baby girl. Look, you just snatched my cord out. Stop.
What are you doing?
Look. Give me this. So my thing go out. Tootie, watch out. People gotta go to work. Let me hurry up and finish this. I'm almost done. Look, okay. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the
Mom,
scourges. Yes.
Josh not letting me play.
Okay, so can you do me a favor? Can you cut on something and she know how to play, or she can act like she playing that? Okay, well, do me a favor. I need her to be quiet till I'm done. I'm almost done. Give me a few minutes. Just help her, show her. All right, just give me a second. Okay, so we also hear this when you read Revelation, right? So when the judgments are falling, once you get to that part with the different judgments and the bowls of wrath and vials of wrath and stuff and judgment being poured out, it always says, and they still didn't repent. And the people still didn't repent. After each bowl or plague or vial that was opened and poured out upon the earth, it said the people still didn't repent. And each judgment after that, it just got worse and worse, right? It's the same thing. They pull it right from here, y'all, so, but this is the bigger, fuller story. So listen. Behold, victuals shall be sold. Hold on, I think I skipped. No, let me go back. Verse 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges, meaning they still didn't repent. They, no matter what came, how horrible it was to get them back on track, they aren't mindful of the judgment, right? They just keep getting worse and worse. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth. Sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men, so that one man desire to see another, and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves, and in the clefts of the rock, as in an orchard of olives. Upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek throughout the vineyard. Even so in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel therethrough. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no men. This right here is actually talking about virgins, right? Okay, the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn, having no men. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their men shall perish of famine. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of Yahuwah. Behold, the word of Yahuwah, receive it. Believe not the Elohim of Yahuwah, of whom Yahuwah spoke. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month brings forth her son. With 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains, when the child comes forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to your battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. He that sails, let him be as he that flees away, and he that buys as one that will lose. He that occupies merchandise as he that has no profit by it, and he that builds as he that shall not dwell therein. He that sows as if he should not reap, so also he that plants the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not as widowers. And therefore They that labor, labor in vain. For strangers shall reap their fruits, and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses, and take their children captives. For in captivity and famine shall they get children, and they that occupy their merchandise with robbery, the more they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions, and their own persons, the more will I be angry with them for their sin, says Yahuwah. Like as a whore envies a right and honest virtuous woman, so shall righteousness hate iniquity when she decks herself, and shall accuse her to her face when he comes that shall defend him that diligently searches out every sin upon the earth. And therefore be ye not like thereunto, nor to the works thereof. For yet a little, and iniquity shall be taken away out of the earth, and righteousness shall reign among you. Let not the sinner say that he has not sinned, for Yahuwah shall burn coals of fire upon his head, which says before Yahuwah Elohim and his glory, that I have not sinned. Behold, Yahuwah knows all the works of men, their imaginations, their thoughts, and their hearts, which spoke but the word, let the earth be made, and it was made. Let the heaven be made, and it was created. In his word were the stars made, and he knows the number of them. He searches the deep and the treasures thereof. He has measured the sea and what it contains. He has shut the sea in the midst of the waters, and with his word he has hanged the earth upon the waters. He spreads out the heavens like a vault. Upon the waters he has founded it. Oh, that's a whole other teaching. In the desert he has made springs of water and pools upon the tops of mountains, that the floods might pour down from the high rocks to water the earth. He made man and put his heart in the midst of the body, and gave him breath, life, and understanding. Yea, and the Spirit El Shaddai, which made all things, and searches out all hidden things in the secrets of the earth. Surely he knows your inventions, and what ye think in your hearts, even them that sin, that would hide their sin. Therefore, as Yahuwah exactly searched out all your works, and he will put you all to shame. And when your sins are brought forth, ye shall be ashamed before men, and your own sins shall be your accusers in that day. What will ye do? Or how will ye hide your sins before Yahuwah and his angels? Behold, Yahuwah himself is the judge. Fear him. Leave off from your sins and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall Yahuwah lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. Ain't that the truth? And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach, and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear Yahuwah. And they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear Yahuwah. For they shall waste and take away their goods, and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Hear, O ye my beloved, says Yahuwah. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahuwah is your guide, and the guide of them who guard my commandments and precepts, says Yahuwah Elohim. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Woe be unto them. Hold on, Pootie. I'm almost done. Like 2 more sentences. Hold on. Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins and covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed, and it is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. And that, my beautiful people, is our reading for today. That was 3 chapters. It took us an hour and a half to get through it, right? That's also adding in my little stuff I added in too. So I'm sorry, y'all. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to pick back up Fossilized Customs. But that was the last 3 chapters of the book of 4th Ezra, chapter 14, 15, and 16. Guys, and that is found in the Apocrypha. Some of you have Bibles which has the Apocrypha added back in. Some of you just have them separate. Either way, read it. All right, and there's also some scrolls and stuff too, baby. I'm trying to get this. There are also some scrolls and stuff that have not been canonized that are separate by themselves, which is good, right? Everybody's not going to read them. I believe that's part of the writings that Ezra wrote. Yahuwah said there would be some that only that the wise and the unwise would read, but there are some that only the wise would read, right? So some of those scrolls, I believe it's a part of that as well. Okay, y'all. So it is Thursday, June the 10th, 2021, day 176 of year 3 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, also known as the Old Testament, which is wrongly named. Right, everything is still just as alive and living and active today.
Mom, Josh won't let me play.
Okay, we'll address this in a minute. And of the 3-year consecutive day count, y'all, it is day 845. That is without the Sabbath days or the feast day Sabbath days adding into the count because we rest. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and do this blessing because my background is just gonna get louder and louder. Baby girl, you wanna do the blessing? Okay, we'll let you do the blessing today. You want to talk, so we'll let you talk. Hold on, let me put this up. I'll let you read the blessing. The blessing is found in Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. Remember, the first 21 verses is the Nazarite vow. Man or woman can take the Nazarite vow. Okay, Tootie, go ahead and read the blessing. Start right here, verse 22. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Nobody else's name, Yahuwah's name alone, right? We want to do our prayers in nobody else's name. Hold on. Yahuwah is jealous over his own name. Even that, when you go through and you read the scriptures, it will blow your mind how many times Yahuwah mentions his very own name and how we should do everything in his name alone. That changes when we pass a certain point in the canonized books of the Bible. Why is that? You should be asking yourself, why is that? Has Yahuwah changed? Has he decided at one point he changed his mind and decided to give us new commands whereby he changed the whole order of things? He didn't. He didn't. He said, I never change. Even his renewed covenant. Remember, even his renewed covenant. What is his renewed covenant? Church will teach you is one thing, but Yahuwah teaches us and tells us what his renewed covenant is. I repeat it a lot. I'll repeat it again here today, just in case you don't know. He said, this new covenant I'm going to give you, it's not going to be like the ones I gave to your forefathers. Wait. And here's the difference. He said, here's the difference. Here's what's not going to be the same. He said, wait a minute, Tootie. He said, the same law that I gave to your forefathers, all of that I'm giving to you again. He said, but here's the only thing that's different. He said, I gave it to them on tablets. He said, this time, I'm going to inscribe it on your hearts. That's the only difference. Everything is still active and fully functioning. If the prophets were able to keep to it, and he constantly kept saying, what are y'all doing? Turn back to this. If the prophets didn't have a problem with keeping it, why do we? Why do we? Why do we? There is nothing hard about it. What gets hard is when all the leaven is added in, and now that Jedi mind trick and that sleight of hand is played on us, and now we begin to look at things that are clearly impossible for us to do when that has never been the case. That has never been what we should have been looking at in the first place. That has always been what the other nations have always done. All the other lovers and whores, right? That's what they do. Yahuwah said, my virgin daughter, my virgin people, Israel, don't do what they do. This is what we do. Keep it classy. Keep it clean. Keep them legs closed. Only for me, right? This is what a spouse would expect of their spouse. A husband would expect of his wife, and a wife would expect of her husband, right? Same principle. Everything Yahuwah says, we can clearly see it, right? In nature all around us. All right, so with that being said, y'all, I love y'all. I will see y'all back here tomorrow, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, I don't think there's any more questions. All right, sweetie. All right, you need to go put on some lip gloss. So, okay. All right, y'all. Go ahead and press finish. You need lip gloss. All right, y'all. Peace. Go ahead. Clean.